fucking piss.
Shit, she fucked it up.
Fucking piss. Are you done?
I think so. We can film it from this angle. This isn't
Yeah,
good.
this is way better.
Should we start again?
No.
Okay.
It's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Okay.
Alright.
So pretty much, we had quite a few people asking us stuff. One of the main things was like the entire experience everyone wanted to know, and that's just, yeah. But something that I thought would be like good things done was like how much money it like costed.
Well, why am I in this video?
No, well, there's lots of things. Because how much money did it cost you to do this whole thing too?
I have no idea. I don't keep track of that shit. That's...
I mean, I didn't keep track, but I feel like it was like around 3,000 at least for my permit. And then like flights were 1,000 and something. But I also got a return flight, so it made it cheaper.
Mm.
But
Mm.
so that's like $4,000 or $5,000.
What was it, 3,000 because you used an agency?
Yeah.
And
And we both kind of went off the website. Like the website that we were using to meet each other. We both went off it.
it was like Tinder for nannies.
It was.
Tinder for nannies.
But yeah, and then you had to pay for the actual app. Or the thing.
Did you not?
No, I didn't have to pay for it.
I did.
I got it for free. Which I'm a bit skeptical about, because it's like, how do they know that I'm a safe person?
Well, they don't. Oh, fucking
Holy
fuck.
shit.
Fuck. Can't do anything right. Yeah, brah. So you can touch on your money spending.
I mean, I thought I just touched on it.
Well, not really, because for Brooke to come, she could have just done all the paperwork herself, but she chose to do it with an agency.
That's true.
So she could have saved herself $3,000, but then she would have possibly been stressed out about if she
And
did
it would
it
have probably
right.
taken longer.
Well,
Like
you
the
would
whole
have
process.
you would have had to take probably a couple days off work to figure it out. Yeah, but yeah, the money that we spend, like Cole and I spend.
But you also spent money on the room as well.
Yeah, that's like what we would have, like really, the money that we would have spent would have been like one of the things that we had to get for the house. So like this room that Brooke lives in, the dungeon room, it was like not furnished. It wasn't furnished at all. So we furnished it pretty much completely. I mean, there's a couple things we still want to buy, but I haven't found what I really want yet. Furnished it, and then obviously the big difference would be basically just like the difference in spending money on having another adult living in the house and eating the groceries and like double the gas kind of thing. But that's pretty much.
And buying another car.
Oh yeah, but that's like classic us, so.
It's true. Cole really liked
We
it.
bought another car too, but actually we had no choice really.
Because I couldn't drive manual.
Because
Or
Brooke
stick.
can't drive stick, manual, or whatever, standard, whatever. So we had to buy another vehicle, which is fine. This is like literally, like I said, this is like classic us. I feel like this happens all the time with us, so it's not really that big of a deal.
Which actually benefited you because
It did benefit me.
it doesn't use as much gas.
It's much better on gas than what my vehicle is.
They say gas, not petrol.
Yeah, I'm never gonna say petrol, so.
You just said it.
Yeah, so that's really like the money thing. I mean, and obviously paying Brooke her wage, which by the way, I will not touch on in any videos. I will not.
Yeah, but that's like the money side of it. I feel like we both covered.
Yeah, and I mean, there's things that come up that like we pay for, like if we go for supper, we pay for dinner if you're an Aussie. If we go out for supper, we typically pay for Brooke to also come. Like she comes up to the lake with us. We're planning a vacation to Barbados that haven't really figured out how we're gonna break that one down, but I'm sure that it will end up being like us paying for the majority at the very least. Yeah, that's pretty much the money thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
What else? How we both gained like trust in each other, like how we both came to like.
Yeah. Came to be.
Came to.
So I'll speak on my situation. So I had joined Aupairworld.com is the website that we were both using. I joined Aupair World and I joined with like the free, it was like a 3-month free thing. Kind of on the premise thinking that I wasn't going to find anybody, and I ended up getting quite a few messages from prospects. But with the free, if you're looking for somebody, the free version, I could only send certain messages to people. So it was like a pre-made message. So like if Brooke was, yeah, it was fucking weird. Aupair world, if you ever see this, it's fucking stupid. So it would be like, Brooke could be like, hi, I'm really, like, I could read her whole message. So it would be like, hi, my name's Brooke, I'm from Australia, I'm a little fucking weirdo, blah, 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 blah. And then I could say, like, I don't even remember what they were, but it was like basic messages. Like, we are interested in meeting you. Like, very basic, kind of like, wow, that's way too forward or whatever. So then I ended up paying for a 3-month subscription of sorts. I don't remember exactly how much it was. It was at least $69. I think it was like $69.99. And then after I had paid for that 3-month thing, of course, like I started messaging with Brooke probably, I think, that same week. But I couldn't have messaged with her the way that I would have wanted to without that. Like, I think it was called like the pro version or whatever.
Yeah.
So there was that. So I mean, I feel like that was like part of gaining trust, because I could actually message her how I wanted to message her, not just like a computer telling me exactly what I was able to send. So that was a big thing for me, because if I wouldn't have been able to message her how I actually truly would have wanted to, there was no way she'd be here.
Yeah. But then we also ended up messaging on Facebook instead.
Yeah, so we messaged on Facebook, and then we FaceTimed quite a bit.
We had our first FaceTime, which was like an interview type FaceTime thing. Yeah. Which was pretty casual.
Super casual.
And we basically just chatted, and Taylor just asked me like why I wanted to do it and stuff, and
I warned her about our freezing cold and like how boring it can be and all of that shit.
We pretty much live out in the country. But yeah, I was like, it's an experience, might as well try it.
But the funny situation about our first FaceTime is that I think Kit, like the baby, he was not old. I want to say like...
He was like 3 months, wasn't he?
No.
No?
He was less than that. He was like 2 to 3 weeks when we first FaceTimed.
Oh, really?
That very first time. Yeah, I have a picture of him somewhere. He was like 2 to 3 weeks, I think. And obviously keeping like a 2 to 3 week old like quiet is hard. So I went over to my mom's house, sitting on their big couch in their living room, whatever. My mom is such a nosy little bitch, and she's standing like behind my laptop, like mouthing questions at me while holding like a fussy baby, and I'm like, the fuck do you want? Anyways, it ended up being she annoyed me so much that I was like, just come into the frame. So Jan pops into the frame, and then Brooke is like pissing herself laughing, and I'm like, fuck, this bitch is weird, why is she laughing? And then she turns her computer, boom, hi Louise.
My mom was just sitting right there. Yeah.
So it was really funny, and I think that was a big thing. I really stressed in my little profile that I wanted somebody that would feel comfortable like hanging out with us and like being
like a family person.
Yeah, being part of our crew, because like we live 35 minutes away from the city, so you know there's not much options for, you kind of have to either hang out with us or hang out by yourself or drive into the city, which you wouldn't always want to do for show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I think because we FaceTimed a lot too, it made it a lot easier on the fact that, like, gaining trust and stuff, and, like, we were both very open about asking questions and everything. And even when we got here, I mean, I said it to you before that I felt like the first day was, like, a little bit, like, not awkward, but I was just really anxious.
I wasn't.
And then it was, like, the following day that I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to live here, like, I just need to be myself. And then it kind of just became more, like...
I don't think you acted anxious though.
No, I was probably trying to act like I was...
You probably tried to act normal, but like inside you were feeling like really awkward or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole like gaining trust thing though, like FaceTiming, we FaceTimed, not like, I mean, initially obviously with like that interview one we FaceTimed, and then I think we FaceTimed maybe once after that.
But I
like,
feel like I tried to FaceTime you at least once a month after that when we like decided we were going to come.
But we did have a little hiatus, because I remember between Christmas and like March we had like a little, like we'd message back and forth like on Instagram, Facebook.
But there was so much happening.
Yeah, there was just a shit ton happening. And then, yeah, we kind of FaceTimed, and then we FaceTimed quite a bit, and I FaceTimed quite a bit with, if Brooke wasn't there, with Louise as well. Obviously because she sent her daughter like halfway around the world, so I mean, I can't imagine Yeah, I messaged with Louise and FaceTime with Louise quite a bit before Brooke came too, and yeah, it was just, I said to Brooke earlier, if I wouldn't have felt like I was comfortable with her being in my house, I wouldn't have had her come.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. Like, that's just putting your family at risk, and I'm not even meaning for danger, but like, you're at risk of, like, you know, awkward situations, or yeah, just nobody wants to deal with that shit. So
yeah,
I just would have been like, nah. And Cole and I discussed, like, if Brooke would have shown up, and I said I think I would be able to tell within the first 2 days if I really
didn't like the person.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be willing to put my family again through that if I really wasn't, like, vibing with the person. So basically Cole was like, well, what would you do? And I was like, I would literally say, here's the change fee for your flight. See ya.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to be
But I also said the same thing, that if I was feeling really uncomfortable,
yeah,
I would have left and gone somewhere else or done something else or gone back home. Or...
Yeah, I mean, Brooke's here on an open permit, so she could technically work wherever.
In Canada.
Yeah, in Canada. Yeah. So she could get a flight to Calgary and, like, find a job, find a place to live and find a job. Like, she could really do whatever. And I've really stressed since the beginning, like, no harm, no foul. I think I've said to her, like, 5 times since she's been here, no harm, no foul. If she decides she wants to go home or she wants to do whatever, I'm not gonna be bothered. It's a life experience. It's not like she's a slave. Not worried about that.
Which she stressed heaps about too, because people were like, I want my Aupair to do what's it called, washing and
yeah, like when I listen to, like,
cleaning
how people treat their
cooking.
nannies or their, like, in-home child caregivers or their au pairs or their whatever they call them, it doesn't really, like, it, like, doesn't sit well with me. I think that, like, you should be, like, grateful for what the person does for you. But I mean, Brooke's, like, tasks, basically her big tasks are, like, hanging out with the boys. If the boys have appointments, she drives them to them, like, you know, keep them entertained, obviously.
Yeah, just keeping them happy
but like, the only
alive.
cleaning really that I'm expecting her ever to do is obviously keeping her room, that she doesn't get ants and stuff. Like, she has basically her own bathroom, I would say, down here. It's not attached to the room, but it's
my own bathroom.
Yeah,
she's literally like
she's the only
10 steps away.
Yeah,
not even.
She's the only one that uses it, other than Kai, like, during the day if they're down here. But, like, cleans up the boys' food, like, not if, but when she makes lunch, obviously they clean up their food stuff, and then at the end of the day, like, kind of, like, tidy up if they've made a disaster, which my boys definitely have made a disaster, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't, like I said to her, she doesn't need to do my laundry unless my laundry happens to be in the random, you know, if the laundry's in the dryer and she needs to put her own stuff in the dryer, she's more than welcome to move my shit, because I'm at work and I can't do
Which
that
I do
or whatever.
too. Yeah.
But I'm never expecting her to, like, fold my shit or...
The first few weeks I would never have touched your, like, your laundry and stuff, but, like, now I'm just like, meh.
Yeah.
I'm like, I put your washing on your bed.
Yeah, thanks. That's where it stays.
It's true.
That's my cuddle buddy.
Who needs a husband when you have clothes?
You don't. You don't.
But yeah.
And then, so basically what we did when Brooke got here for the first, I was meant to go back, Brooke got here on June 2nd, I was meant to go back to work on July 8th, so I was hoping to have basically, like, a month and a bit to, you know, get her used to everything here, have the boys hang out with her, blah, 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 blah. And then my bosses asked me if I would go back to work early, and basically I said I would do it on the premise of, like, almost like a trial. Like, I try a couple of days, and if I wasn't feeling good about it or whatever, if whatever wasn't working out, then I would not go back until the 8th. So yeah, Brooke basically ended up only having 2 weeks of kind of, like, get used to life time and whatever, but obviously she did fine because everyone's alive.
Yeah. So far, so good.
Yeah. And within those first 2 weeks, did we go out those first 2 weeks? Is that when we went out?
It was like, yeah.
And went boozing?
It was like I had, like, the first week, and then it was, like, the second week, I think.
Right.
On, like, a Thursday. No, it was, like, Friday night or something.
It was a Friday or Saturday for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
And then I met some of your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get used to it and try and make some friends.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then, like, a month later? A month and a half later? Was when you were like, hey, I think you should work here. which is where you work, but at a certain place. And I was like, I don't know. And then she got one of her friends, who I was kind of friends with at the time, to message me, and then I felt like, oh, okay, I have to do it. And then I did, but now I'm really glad that I did it, and that Taylor pressured me into doing it.
Oh, yeah, she only works, like
2 days. Oh.
Every second week she works a day and a half of a shift, but every week she works a half shift, so, like, 4 hours. I think it's just a good thing for her to get out of the house, and even just, like, talking with the strangers that she'll see at work, and talking with the people at work, I think it's a good thing. It's
but even, like, I've made
healthy.
2 friends since.
Which anyone in Australia, you're like, oh, you made 2 friends. 2 friends when you're, like, literally halfway across the world is, like, really impressive. Like, she's actually hung out with these people without me around, without, like, she's...
Which the first month I did not. I, like, was glued to Taylor's hip.
But, I mean, I think that's saying a lot if you're, like, you know, making your own friends, doing your own thing. Because me with the boys, I can't just up and, like, get someone to look after the boys always. So, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And she got hit on at work the other day. The guy didn't freaking ask for her number. What a wanker.
That was funny.
Was funny. Yeah, so...
What else? And, like, daily life. I guess the only other thing that I talk about, like, experience is, like, Taylor's really got me trying new things and, like, pushing me to do things. Like, we went ziplining. What else have we done? We've done quite a bit. I just can't think right now.
I mean, we've gone to the lake a lot.
Yeah, ziplining. We've gone to the lake. I had s'mores, which I haven't had before.
Yeah.
We've done, like, quite a bit. And then even, like, with the boys, like, I will go to the pool, or I'll go to, like, a museum, a park, just, like, something to get the boys out of the house, depending on the day, because sometimes they can be a little
Well, it just gets
psycho.
a little boring, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just being stuck in the same place. Yeah, but I mean, the daily life, like, that's where it feels, like, mundane and stuff. But basically what happens is I'm typically up at the crack of dawn with one or both of the boys, depending on what I have to do for work, depending on where I am for work. I usually leave my house around 7, between 7 and 7:30.
Which I normally come upstairs at about 7. I, like, wake up at 6:30 and just chill, and then I come upstairs at about 7.
Yeah. So she comes upstairs, and then basically I head on my way, and I get home anywhere between 3:30, and I think the latest I've gotten home, I got home at, like, 7.
Yeah.
Other than when I work, like, nights.
But you also let me know if you're going to be home late, the day before.
Yeah. Yeah, I try, like, I mean, I like to have it planned out. It's just nicer, because then Brooke can, like, go to the gym if she's planning on going to the gym, or, like, if she wants to go and, like, meet someone for a drink, or for a tea or a coffee or whatever, or just, like, even
just to go hang.
Just to, like, maybe she wants to, like, run to the store to grab something for herself just to get out of the house, like, then she has her own time to do it, not kind of like, she only has an hour now instead of having 4. So...
But even, like, when I'm, like, during the day with the boys, it's not like I can't, if I'm like, oh, I want to go pick something up from the shops, or from Walmart, because they have Walmart. Like, it's easy to take the boys.
Yep.
If I decide, like, I really need to go get something. They're usually pretty chill.
Yeah, they're pretty easy.
Depending on the boy. And the day.
Yes. Typically fairly easy.
Yeah.
Not normal kids. Totally.
I feel like I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, I guess maybe I'll try and put photos in this if I can figure out how to do that. Right here.
This is us.
And there's not going to be anything because I won't figure it out.
This is us zipline.
Woo!
But I mean, like, if somebody is contemplating having an au pair or a live-in, or they're contemplating doing it, like, for my opinion, I recommend it if you're comfortable with it. But if you're going in and you're not sure, like, I believe in gut feelings. If you're going in and you don't have a good gut feeling, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not the right person for you. It's not the right time for you. It's not the right whatever. Or maybe you don't know if your kid can handle it. If you think any of those things, don't do it.
Yeah. I agree. I felt like I'm very big homebody, so leaving my home and my country and everything, I was like, holy shit, like, this is crazy. But, like, doing it, it's already been, like, it's been nearly 3 months, and it's been one of the best experiences. And, like, I've had one homesick stage, which was, like, after the first month, and I just went, like, full-blown meltdown. And then I had my meltdown, calmed down, went to sleep. I called my mum, and then I haven't, like, felt like that since, except she made me cry today, but happy tears, but she made me cry. But yeah, I think apart from that, like, hasn't been tears, hasn't been problems, like, everything's been very, like, fun and exciting. I think it also depends on, like, the family you get, or, like, the Aupair you get.
Yeah, I mean, if you were stuck in a house that you didn't have access to a vehicle, or, like, a public transit system or something like that, you might feel stuck.
Yeah, like, trapped.
But I've really stressed, like, just leave, like, you know, just leave, even if she just wanted to go for a drive, like, she's fully able to, because we have the vehicles accessible, where not everybody would have
and
that.
they always make sure that I have, like, one, like, because there's
20,000 cars to choose from.
But pretty much there's one that I would drive that's a auto, and then there's one that's a manual. And depending on the day,
well, if Cole
they always make sure that
if Cole didn't take his truck, you could. I mean, you could. I wouldn't probably take his truck. It's brand new.
It's massive.
Yeah, it's a big fucker.
It's like a big thing. But I probably wouldn't take his truck. But like they always make sure there's a car there for me, especially on weekends.
Yeah.
And stuff, which is really good. So, but yeah, I feel like that's pretty much everything. I can't really think of anything else.
Can't really think of anything.
I mean, if anyone has any questions, comment them down below. If
you like this video, link and subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram. Links will be down below. What is that? What? I didn't know. How did you do that?
I don't know.
What's that meant to be?
I don't know what I did.
She did something fancy on the phone. Okay. Bite you.
Funny.
But yeah, I feel like.
But seriously, if you have any questions, comment them below. We'll answer them in our next spiel.
Or send a message
maybe
personally
we won't be
if you know me. Oh yeah,
a
maybe we'll actually try and look good.
We should be house coat homies.
Just be like whatever we're looking like when we decide to take a video will be what we look like.
I'm not gonna fucking do my shit up.
I came downstairs, put pajamas on, and I was like, sweet, we're ready to go. Taylor put her son to sleep and was like, sweet, ready to go. But yeah.
Gucci.
Oh my gosh. Alright. Bye. Later, skaters.
Yeah. Hi. Hi. This is gonna make the final cut for sure. This is Brooke.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh, my face is going red.
So what are we gonna touch on?
Well, I mean, I had a few questions sent in
from a couple subscribers. I can't do this with this bitch. Can I? Do I need to just do this by myself?